Good Thursday to you. We've some terrific stories for you today on Ag AM in Kansas. Here's what's coming up.
Today, Brian Holman is at Premier Farm and Home visiting with Jenna and Chad. Jenna talks about skyrocketing grain prices, how they affect the cost of feed, and the misguided feeding practices some horse owners are resorting to. And Chad teaches us to decipher the information on seed tags. Then Brian talks with Jason as he explores the success of various conservation practices, including no-till and the use of cover crops. And finally, we hear from our poet laureate, Ron Wilson. Closed captioning brought to you by Kansas Soybean Commission, the Soybean Checkoff Progress, powered by Kansas farmers. Horsing Around, brought to you by Roy Fry Western Lifestyles, dressing Northeast Kansas their Western best for over 57 years.
Good morning, welcome back to the show. We're at Premier Farm and Home. We're joined by Jenna. It's good to see you.
Hi, Brian.
It's been a while. I think the last time you and I talked, we were both wearing coats. You're wearing a coat today. I'm not wearing a coat. So,
in between seasons.
In between seasons. Hey, you know, this year grain prices have, by nobody's fault, Mother Nature's, have kind of skyrocketed this year, and we were talking off camera, and you see a lot of people kind of looking at tags and kind of comparing feeds. I mean, feed is expensive this year, so we're going to talk about tags today. Let's jump right into it. Tags.
Well, the biggest thing the thing that I'm hearing the most from horse owners right now is grain prices, and how can I make my grain go further, and how can I, how can I get more out of my feed, but I, still want to feed something high quality, but I might have to sacrifice if I can find something just like it, but for less money. And a lot of people, go in and they take the feed tag and they think, well, this feed tag A looks the same as feed tag B, but the reality of the situation is that just because it's both a 14% protein or 12% protein, they derive the protein from different sources, and depending on the grade of the protein, which is something that's not specified on the tag does not specify quality or grades of ingredients in the feed, then you look at these tags that are pretty similar, but one feed might be a lot more available to the horse or might be a lot higher quality.
Palate pleasing, is that kind of something also you need to get right, more palatable?
And a lot of it depends on, too, where they got their sources of feed from, or their sources of their ingredients for the feed from. Did it come from a high-quality source? Was it tested? A lot of those things come into play that the feed tag doesn't say. So sometimes you can look at two feed tags that are very similar, and you might have to feed twice as much of a poorer quality feed versus a higher concentrated feed, that might cost you a little bit more per bag, but a cost per head per day where you break it down in pounds and how much each pound costs and how many pounds you feed a horse a day might pencil in a lot better than a feed that's cheaper per bag.
So if you're having to feed 3.5 or 4 pounds of feed to a horse, but you can feed 2 pounds of feed, even though that bag is more expensive, in the long run it's cheaper to feed that 2 pounds instead of 4 pounds.
Apples to apples, you'd be getting twice as much
right
out of your bag of feed. It would go further, even though it might cost a little more per bag. Once again, you're getting more out of it.
When we say a little bit more, I mean, are we talking cents or are we talking dollars when we talk about a little bit more?
Usually cents, we're hoping.
Okay, right. So, I mean, we're talking maybe 75 cents to $1.50 per bag, and we're talking 50-pound bags of feed here. In the long run, I mean, people look at it and go, gosh, that's $1.50 difference.
But saving 25 cents a head a day, in 4 days, that's $1.
Right.
That does add up, and we're trying to make your feed go further, last longer, and you get the best, the benefits out of it. The reason why we feed it is we want that overall health. We want the balanced nutrition. Another thing I hear a lot of horse owners doing is mixing in a commodity such as oats or something to try and stretch that feed out and make it go further. But what they end up doing in the long run is cutting themselves a little bit short, where they unbalance the ration, because horses have an energy requirement, and they have to have a balanced ration to get that energy requirement met.
So our takeaway is read the tags, make sure that you're comparing apples, be knowledgeable, apples to apples, and just because you're saving dollars today means somewhere down the line you're just going to catch up with you.
Sure.
All right. If you need anything, come on out and see her out at Premier Farm and Home.
Come on by. We'll treat you like family.
Here in Dallas, we're proud that our vehicles use an advanced biofuel called biodiesel. It's made from renewable resources like soybean oil, canola oil, even recycled cooking oil. This year, biodiesel will displace almost 1 billion gallons of fossil fuel nationwide. Our air is cleaner, our economy is stronger, and America's more energy independent. It's working here, it can work in your community. Biodiesel, America's advanced biofuel.
Purple Wave is a proud supporter of the Kansas FFA through the Bid for Blue program. Purple Wave donates a portion of the proceeds earned on certain ag assets to the Kansas FFA. Winning bidders can designate a Kansas chapter to receive the donation. To date, Purple Wave is proud to have donated over $10,000. Visit purplewave.com to learn more and to place bids on Bid for Blue assets. Purple Wave Auction. Straight, simple, sold.
Be sure to catch up with us daily on the radio for more agricultural information from Kansas State University. Agriculture Today at this website, ksre.ksu.edu.
Valley Vet Supply is devoted to providing information and professional quality products at reasonable prices.
Valley Vet Supply. We're raising a lot of heaven, the country parson.
Howdy, friends. When spring rolls around, ranchers burn off their pastures to remove all of the dead grass and shrubs which cows can't eat. The burning prepares the way for new grass to grow fresh and strong. What's in your life right now that is dead growth that you need to burn? A past achievement that you base your life on? How about a relationship of hurt or a type of bitterness that you keep? How about a particular purchase that you thought was going to make your life better? Growth is good. Living on the laurels, hurts, or relationships of the past isn't. Our past is what makes us who we are today, but living in the past does not help us to grow. Now, it's okay to sit and reminisce, but we must live in the here and now. Are you ready to burn? I've got the match. You be encouraged.
Crop News brought to you by Heritage Tractor, your full-line John Deere dealer. Visit us online at heritagetractor.com.
Good morning and welcome back to the show. We're at Premier Farm and Home and we are in fall season. I mean, we are in full swing of fall season. So everybody's grass is starting to green up. If it hasn't, you're going to be out here at Premier Farm and Home buying some grass seed, and we're going to talk about seed tags. Let's talk about that.
Right. For those of you who don't know, any grass seed or any type of seed that's sold in Kansas requires the state to put a tag on it that tells you what is in it, how much weed seed's in there, when was it last tested, how much of what variety. Those sorts of things are important for Kansas law that we put them in there. So it's important that you understand what those numbers mean on a seed tag. So when you go making your buying decisions, you're comparing apples to apples, and we're not buying something maybe we didn't want, or we're getting a surprise in there that we didn't plan on.
Now, wheat guys and corn guys and soybean guys buy certified seed. Can we buy certified grass seed?
Absolutely.
Really?
Yeah. So
okay.
Ours will be certified seed, just like you would in agriculture.
Right.
It's a very good idea to look for a blue tag certification with turf grass seed. So they'll have a little blue tag that's right next to the tag that says it meets some sort of certain minimum requirements of quality as far as weed seed goes and those sorts of things. And so that's important to determine, how good is the seed and how much of something else are you getting.
Okay, so let's go, and we're not going to go line by line on a seed card here, but what are some of the things that we should look at?
What we're looking at, the first thing that should draw your eye is the weed seed content. And I like to look at a bag and just flip it over and say, hey, how much weed seed is in this? And let's say, for instance, Brian, we have one that has 2% weed seed. If we had 2% weed seed, we're looking at about 300 weed seeds per pound if you bought 100 pounds of seed. So if you buy 2 bags, 2 pounds of that's weed seed. There's about 300,000 weed seeds per pound. That's 600,000 weed seeds. If that covers on an overseed half of an acre, we're looking at 23 weeds per square foot you're planting. So think about that.
Son of a gun.
A square foot, 23 weeds, that's creating another problem. So we really need to watch that purity level and make sure that it's not out of bounds there. So what we want to see is probably no more than 0.0 something.
Okay.
You know, with K31, there may be a little higher tolerance there, maybe a 0.1, but if we have a 0.0 something, that's what we're looking for.
And we're not picking on any brands, and I'm not talking about any. We're not here to make your buying decision for you. We're just trying to get you some information. Big box stores carry, you know, some manufacturers that may be a little bit different than say some of the other people carry. So, you know, people go there because it's convenient to get that. But in the long run, are they going to be unhappy with that?
It really depends. Some of the big box stores have excellent quality, you know, and you definitely pay for them in the big box stores. It's one thing that they're not super cheap on or anything like that. But don't be fooled by the shiny bag. You know, the worst thing is you go in there and you get this shiny bag and you flip it over and you look at it and you've got some weed seed in there. They may throw another species in there, like an annual rye or something that comes up quick, kind of giving you this, oh, look at my lawn's coming up. And it ends up being a weed for you later on. So there are, you know, you want to make sure that it's the species that you want, and you want to make sure that it's not throwing you some sort of curveball that they'll put in like in sun and shade mixes.
Right.
And the key word would be mix. A mix means they put different species in there. A blend means it's all the same species.
So basically the picture on the bag is probably Photoshopped.
You can guarantee it's Photoshopped, right?
Guaranteed Photoshopped.
The only place it's not Photoshopped is out here where it grows.
That's exactly,
you know, so you can come out here and you can actually see it before you buy it and make that determination for yourself.
All right, real quick in the last 40 seconds we have here together.
Sure.
What is our cutoff time? We're coming into October right now. How much more time do we have? We've got 4, 5, 6 weeks left?
You know, I like to put the very generic cutoff date as the 3rd week in October. Anything after that, we're not looking at germination before November. And we need at least, you know, probably that month before any kind of hard, you know, frost starts to develop in the soil that may heave those seedlings out and dry them out. So if we have really good moisture, you can bed a little later, but you know, probably a better way to put it is after that 3rd week in October, you're flipping a coin. It's a 50-50 shot. If it's moist, we'll get it. If it's you know,
dry
and crappy, we're probably going to lose some of that, or it may just stay dormant all the way until next spring and come up.
Perfect. HeyCal.com, or just drive yourself out here to Premier Farm and Home.
Yep.
We'll see you guys.
Thank you, Brian.
You're welcome, Chad.
Soil is the life of a farm, and for 25 years, SureCrop Liquid Crop Nutrition has helped growers produce abundant quality crops while preserving and improving the soils they steward. SureCrop offers complete soil and plant analysis with cropping recommendations, delivery direct to your on-farm storage, and quality crop nutrition custom blended for your field. Choose SureCrop for the assurance of excellence for your soil. Call today or visit their website for more information.
If our local animal agriculture industry disappeared, what else would disappear? The buses that get us to school? The playgrounds and ballparks we go to after school? The books and computers that help us learn and grow? Animal agriculture provides millions of dollars in tax revenue that pay for our school improvements, that pave the foundation that will build our future. A message from U.S. soybean farmers and their checkoff.
If your company relies on business vehicles, it all comes together with Briggs Dodge Business Link with business vehicle financing. Business Link is a no-cost membership with advantages such as extended service hours, a dedicated staff, free loaners, shuttle service, and much more. It's about more than being in business. It's about doing business better, smarter, and more efficiently. Briggs Dodge Business Link is custom made for you. Call Briggs Dodge and let them show you how Business Link can help your business.
The Kansas State University College of Veterinary Medicine is a leader in food animal research and education. Our researchers are constantly expanding the knowledge of animal health and food safety. Through the Veterinary Health Center and the Kansas State Veterinary Diagnostic Lab, we provide practical services for animal producers. Home of the Beef Cattle Institute, the college is committed to animal welfare training and research. The Kansas State University College of Veterinary Medicine, knowledge and service for the future of animal production.
Valley Vet Supply is devoted to providing information and professional quality products at reasonable prices.
Crop News, brought to you by the Kansas Association of Wheat Growers and Kansas Wheat Commission. Together, we are Kansas Wheat.
Jason, thanks for joining us this morning. Conservation and drought management, do they go hand to hand, or are they two separate issues that you have to deal with?
To some degree, they're two separate issues. I think they do go hand in hand to some degree. Depends how severe and long the drought is. I think in terms of no tillage, use of cover crops, I think having residue on the ground provides to some degree for a short period of time in drought conditions when we don't have rain. It's keeping that, preventing heat and the sun from evaporating moisture that's getting in the soil, and keeping that soil, keeping soil moisture in the soil available for the plants and not evaporating off. And I think that's probably one of the biggest protections is from drought. And so, and as well as providing maybe additional protections for pests and diseases that may arise during a drought period, and helping protect. Again, and a lot of this is kind of tied in with that residue. I think on the other hand, as we've seen this year with such a persistent drought, what we tend to see is that this is impacting every system, and I think we're going to see impacts all across the board. And so I think while conservation systems and conservation practices like no-till and stuff provide that protection, and they'll give us hopefully some type of boost in what we'd see under a more conventional tillage system, I think what's going to happen is we're still going to see the impact, and so we still might see losses and from a long-term or a prolonged or severe drought. And so it's kind of that short-term drought protection that those conservation systems are really providing us year to year. And so they're reducing that variability year to year as well.
Well, as no-till starts to really kind of gain a foothold here in the state of Kansas, maintaining that topsoil health, I mean, again, that kind of goes into the conservation and managing drought conditions?
Yeah, and we want to maintain that. I think in terms of when we do get water, one thing that the no-till does in improving that soil health is improves the infiltration capabilities of the soils and helping keep that water there. And I think the ability, so when we do get rain, maybe it helps provide it for a little bit longer period of time. And so that's the idea in terms of, I think this year is just an exception. I think last year and this year, we're in an exceptional drought period. And so conservation systems, yeah, they're going to provide that soil health, that aggregate structure we need, the additional carbon sequestration that's going to help keep nutrients and stuff in the soil, and build our soil health, hopefully then building soil productivity over time and improving our cash crop yields and stuff.
Is this something that you could flop back and forth from between dry years versus a wetter year, or is this something that once you put in place, you should probably stick with?
Yeah, so once you adopt a conservation system, I think it's something you want to stick with. The problem what we see is, so if you did continuous no-till for 3-4 years and then go till the soil, disc it, chisel, whatever, you're losing some of the benefits you've gained in that topsoil layer. And so we lose some of the benefits by breaking up the soil. And so we kind of go backwards. It's not that we lose all the benefits that we've gained, we go backwards. If you continue to till, then you start to revert back to the original conditions of your soil. So I think we lose the soil health and the benefits, the environmental benefits, the productivity benefits that we gained, and we increase that susceptibility to soil erosion again. So I think it's something we want to think long term, and ideally it's something we want to adapt our systems to, because I think that's kind of the route we're heading, especially with the variability in weather that we're seeing, and so it includes not just tillage, but it's rethinking about our rotations, thinking about other conservation practices that help further improve soil, further improve cash crop productivity.
Work better for dry land versus irrigated?
I think it can work for both. I think for dry land, we tend to see it in dry land, but I think it would also work very well for irrigated systems, especially with water depleting in the aquifer, and obviously with the short-term droughts period conditions we've been having over the last few years. I think that's something that we gain those benefits. We get some short-term drought protection, but as well as I think within irrigated systems, it can help manage water conservation a lot better within the conservation systems.
Here in Dallas, we're proud that our vehicles use an advanced biofuel called biodiesel. It's made from renewable resources like soybean oil, canola oil, even recycled cooking oil. This year, biodiesel will displace almost 1 billion gallons of fossil fuel nationwide. Our air is cleaner, our economy is stronger, and America's more energy independent. It's working here, it can work in your community. Biodiesel, America's advanced biofuel.
And now here's another gardening tip with Dave Jackson.
The secret to a dark, green, lush, healthy lawn begins with testing your soil for proper pH and fertility, planting high-quality, weed-free seed, and applying the correct fertilizers and herbicides at the proper time. Let Jackson's and Furlone products help you succeed with your lawn.
Our Tri-Power Turf-Type Fescue is 100% weed-free and on sale now. Stop in for answers to all your lawn questions and get a great deal on our Tri-Power and new lawn starter.
Nobody gives you more ways to play and more reasons to stay than Prairie Band Casino and Resort. 3 great restaurants, Players Club benefits, plus an award-winning golf course. Go for it! You'll find something new and exciting every day, just north of Topeka off Highway 75.
Prairie Band Casino and Resort. Go for it!
Saddle up and head on down to Roy Fry Western Lifestyles, the finest complete Western store in Northeast Kansas. Look your Western best. Select from 3,000 pairs of boots, Western home decor, and accessories. Near the corner of Highway 24 and Kansas Avenue. Open till 6 during the week, 9 to 5 on Saturday, and Sunday noon till 4. Or you can always shop online. Western people serving your Western lifestyle. Roy Fry Western Lifestyles.
Rural Lifestyle, brought to you by Brown Chevrolet Buick. In Wamego, just a short drive down the Yellow Brick Road.
I think most cattlemen know about wild cattle they've encountered or some wild and crazy critter that they've met along the way. All of us old stockmen have stories to tell, but with livestock, you never know. This poem is entitled Wild Cattle. These cattle are wild, the old rancher said. It's a saying that fills us cowboys with dread. We know we're in for one tough day when the boss describes the cattle that way. He said, this load of calves came from Tennessee. They'd hardly seen a human before they came to me. When these calves got here, they acted riled. I turned them out in the pasture, and they ran wild. So I'm sorry, he said with some chagrin, but it's time to gather these wild cattle in. The boys saddled up, and we dispersed across the pasture, fearing the worst. I rode out to the west on a mere hunch, and found those calves grazing all in a bunch. But when they spotted a horse and a man, those wild cattle all turned tail and ran. They ran straight toward the loading pens, and then ran to the trailer and ran right in. The boss slammed shut the trailer gate, and we sat there amazed at this twist of fate. Those cattle were wild, and they'd certainly run, but they ran right in the trailer. Suddenly, we were done. We looked at each other in disbelief at the ease with which we loaded that beef. In spite of all our worries and fears, that was the easiest loading we'd done in years. So I turned around and reined up my hoss as we trained our puzzled eyes on the boss. Well, the boss said with a wondering expression, for once those cattle were wild in the right direction. Happy trails.
Closed captioning brought to you by Kansas Soybean Commission. The Soybean Checkoff, Progress, powered by Kansas farmers.
We'll have plenty more for you tomorrow here on Ag AM in Kansas. We're here every weekday, same time, same station. Or look for us on the web at agaminkansas.com. Eric Atkinson here for K-State Research and Extension.